It is Simone Jargim's Florida Grand Slam. HCC Tennis Center in the heart of Tampa. Drew Felios and Scott Golden. We told you about Matt Wright and Steve Deakin. Let's talk about the other duo, Dekel and Adam Stone, who are right now on the sidelines getting ready. There's Adam Stone right there in the blue. Dekel kneeled right next to him. Had a chance to see Dekel on many occasions last week in Phoenix. Remember, he's from Israel, was a pro tennis star, made the switch to pickleball and never looked back.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. One of the things that'll stand out right away is his big 6'4" frame. He looks like he can play linebacker for the NFL if he didn't play pro tennis or pro pickleball. But one of the things that I really enjoy watching him is he's a big man with soft hands, and he moves like a gazelle on the court. He's so smooth, so just in tune with his body. And then you've got the contrasting partner in Adam Stone, who we call affectionately Stoney. And this guy, man, unbelievable personality. You'll see he's very animated, Drew, on the court. He talks to himself a lot. You'll hear a lot of self-talk, and he's just a fired-up guy. Really, really fun to watch this duo.
You see players coming in from the other courts. Remember, they're just coming off matches that just concluded, and you can tell the heat is going to be a factor throughout this tournament. As Adam Stone looks like he has been exerting himself over the last few hours, and here on the PPA Tour, just the second tour stop. Long way to go. In 2 weeks, we are in St. George, Utah, before we head to Newport Beach, California.
For sure, and I wanted to touch again with what you just brought up about the heat and the humidity down in Southwest Florida. Some of these players come from out west, they come from up in Canada, and it takes them a little while to adjust. So we're going to see if that plays a factor here in this matchup.
Steve Deakin getting set to serve. And just about to get underway here. Men's doubles pro here at the HCC Tennis Center.
And we've got two phenomenal referees here in Larry Scott, who is the stepdad of Kyle Yates, professional pickleball player. And to the other side of the two referee system is Bob Swisshelm. And I believe Larry Scott is going to be our head referee. And the job of the other referee that's on court with him is to watch foot faults from the other side and get an opinion on what Larry Scott may or may not be able to see.
If you've just tuned in, great to have you with us. We're going to be here till about 5 to 6 o'clock. You got Deakin and Wright in the far court, Barr and Stone. In the near court, we're underway from Championship Court.
Matt really telegraphing that he's going to speed that forehand up right there, right into the body of Dekel, but he is so ready to snap off on that shot, putting that ball at their feet for a winner.
You mentioned Dekel and being a big man, how quickly he moves. You'd think he wouldn't have the range of some of the other players, but he has tremendous hand-eye coordination, especially in tight spaces.
For sure. And if you watch the mannerisms of both of them together, it makes a dynamic team. They're really fun to watch. You'll see as this unfolds.
Second server.
Dekel signed with Engage, playing with an Engage. Looks like Poach advantage. Paddle tech for Adam Stone.
Which begs the question. Of course, you got to be good to be signed by a major sponsor, but you also have to be marketable, right? It has to be a good combination.
Yes, it's a two-way street. They want to know what you can do for them, and then the player wants to know what the company can provide for them as far as travel expenses and things like that. It's becoming more and more expensive to play in these big tournaments, and you've got to have a good sponsor behind you, backing you. There's no question.
That's a great point.
1-1-2.
1-1-2 now, Matt Wright. Saw Matt Wright last week teaming with Kyle Yates, and also with his girlfriend Lucia Kovalova. They ran into Johns and Jardim, and they played well in doubles, but just in the mixed doubles rather, and Johns and Jardim were just unflappable.
Boy, they beat him 11-3, 11-3 in that final, and it was something to see right there.
Oh, beautifully done. And the point scored by Adam Stone.
That was a great setup by Dekel. He's just got quick hands at the net. Both of them do. Actually, really, to be honest, all four of these guys are phenomenal at the non-volley zone. But that upper hand went to Dekel and Adam Stone.
And again, another good shot by Stone. Let's size up the brackets now. Scott, when you look at how these players got here, what are you looking at?
So this is quite a bit bigger than the women's pro bracket. There's 31 teams in the men's bracket, and looks like Steve Deakin and Matt Wright beat Jeff Hirsch and Andreas Newert 11-0, 11-0, so they had an easy win in the first round. It looks like this matchup that we're seeing is the winners bracket finals of the men's. So they have traveled quite far, actually. Deakin and Wright took down Fajardo and Gabriel Joseph 11-4, 11-4. Then they took down Kyle Yates and Andre Descu 11-8, 11-8. So they've been finishing games in two, matchups in two.
Winner that time from Dekel. Dekel has been playing exceptionally well so far in this game.
Yeah, he's just a big presence on the court, Drew. I mean, just look at his structure and his build. He's an intimidating guy on the court. He's very soft-spoken, but don't let that fool you. This guy is full of intensity and power. But he's a very balanced player, and that's really what I appreciate him the most. He's got a unique ability to keep the ball soft and unattackable when he's up at the non-volley zone.
Yes. 4-3-2.
A little bit long that time for Matt Wright.
Yeah, Adam Stone not even raising his paddle tech paddle up above his shoulders for that one. A big win for Dekel and Adam Stone against Ben Johns and Colin Johns, who won last week in Phoenix in the men's pro finals.
Had a chance to call that match, went late into the night. And it was against, I believe, DeVilliers and Smith.
That's right. It's a good pronunciation there, Drew.
It was the Frenchman. Big hit out in Phoenix and along the entire tour as well. Lots of fans.
4-3-1.
Just a 1-point lead here in game one. Oftentimes in game one, you usually see a feeling out process. None of the players are in full throttle yet. They're just kind of dropping the ball, getting up there to the kitchen, and setting up their shots with some soft dinks. That's what we call the 1-2 punch right there from Matt Wright. He takes that ball, he rolls it right into the belly button of his opponent, it pops up, and then he smashes it for a winner. It's like a jab and then a uppercut in boxing.
Good analogy. Hey, look at the big man Dekel. He's like the Tyson Fury of pickleball.
I agree with that 100%.
He's tough to land anything on this guy.
He's very intimidating when you're out there. Very intimidating. He's a big presence for sure.
Can it be an intimidating sport when you're playing great players on the other side?
Absolutely. If you lift that ball at all, these guys hammer it. They will make you pay. And the sport is evolving every single tournament you see new and inventive things, and these players are getting better and better at taking the ball from below the net and being offensive, attacking it. You used to not see that at all. If the ball was unattackable below the net, you never saw offensive shots, and now you do. See how crisp that was from Dekel. Great counterattacks from the Israel native Dekel.
See Deakin right there. You mentioned working for the family business, going all in on this sport, trying to come up big here in Tampa. And right now, these two teams neck and neck, tied at 5.
Right now, they're staying clear away from Matt Wright and going at Steve Deakin here early, having a little bit of success there attacking Steve. That's what Matt does really well. He has a high IQ, like we talked about earlier in the broadcast. He's an attorney, so he's got a very smart head on his shoulders there, letting that ball go long.
Oh, a little ATP around the post. That time, of course, in this great sport of pickleball, that is legal. Does not have to go over the net when you are off to the side like that, if you can pull it off.
For sure, these guys make it look so easy.
How about this?
Now let's go, Steve!
Just wide.
You know what, that's one of the nuances of this sport. They were pinned back deep, Drew, and they just kept the ball in play until they could get the right shot to reset into the non-volley zone and get back up there to a neutral position, ultimately winning that point. Just a 2-point advantage. This game in all its rights has been back and forth, close, staying within 1 or 2 points of each other.
Oh, right down the middle. Beautifully done from Steve Deakin. Thought it was interesting, too. You mentioned the IQ of Matt Wright as we take a look at the point again. Matt Wright, last week after that match with Johns and Jardim, when his team had pretty much been smoked off the court, he said, yeah, we had a game plan. It just it just didn't work.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. That's really funny.
It really was comical, but I think that's a part of what makes him great, too, and one of the top players in the circuit. Knowing the moment, knowing it's not always going to be your day, but hey, I may not get it this week. I'll come back and get you next week. Timeout. So Barnstone will talk things over. And again, neck and neck. We'll take a hydration break and step aside. A message from Jigsaw Health. We're back to Tampa in a moment.
I think it's 120 milligrams. Let me check on that really quick.
It's 125.
Oh, it's 125 milligrams.
UPS or FedEx for this one?
FedEx, they deliver on Saturday. It's 3 minutes on high. It's pound, then the number. Orange evokes energy and vitality. Black shows softness.
How does he know all this stuff?
Strength.
That's always right.
Yellow shows unknowns, things that are unclear. We need to dive into the yellow more.
Welcome back to the Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam here at the HCC Tennis Center in the heart of Tampa. Stop number 2 on the PPA Tour. Drew Felios with Scott Golden. See the fans here trickling into center court. Got lots of family and friends too coming to the court. Scott, they're asking me, how do I get more involved in pickleball? Our good friend Jason Powers with us, your old friend from Birmingham. Guys like Jason want to get involved in the sport. What advice would you give them to start playing this great game?
The first thing they should do is download one of the pickleball apps to find out where their local courts are, where they live. So if you live in Tampa, for example, like Jason Powers does, you would just download that app. It'll GPS your coordinates and tell you where you can go play. First thing you need to do is just go pick up a paddle and start playing.
And then maybe one day you can play alongside greats like Matt Wright and Dekel Barr and Adam Stone. You never know. Circumstances can put you right next to some of the greats in this great game if you step up your game. Was there a moment like that for you when you're like, oh my goodness, I'm all of a sudden playing with some of the best players in the world here?
Well, matter of fact, I just had to play Tyson McGuffin and Riley Newman in the first round this morning. So yes, that was this morning when I woke up.
It's not always pleasant, is it?
No, we got handed a hefty beat down there. So, but you know what, man? It's a great experience either way, and I personally love competing against some of the best in the world, and it's just such a fun game, win or lose.
Six, 9-1 now, Dekel Barr serving.
Dekel trying to do a little too much there. I think he thought that ball was going to be a little higher so he could attack it, but Matt Wright doing a great job keeping that ball low and unattackable. Great hands by Dekel Barr. Adam somehow missed that ball completely, but boy, that was fun to watch there.
Timeout once again on the court. Temperatures rising here on center court here at HCC, and for that we'll take a hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health and come back to Tampa in just a moment.
Dang, thirsty.
Welcome back to the Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam. Hillsborough Community College, and here on center court watching two pretty good teams. Dekel Barr right there out of Israel, alongside partner Adam Stone. The opponents, Matt Wright and Steve Deakin. Deakin and Wright right now with a 3-point lead in game one.
Steve having none of that right there with that exchange. Adam Stone slowly walking back to his spot after getting beat on that firefight. Dekel opening his hand behind his back, signifying that he wants to switch positions.
And that will do it. Game number one, Deakin and Wright will take it as they go on a late run to take that first session over Barr and Stone. We saw a lot of dinking in that first session, and explain the philosophy when teams are dinking back and forth constantly. In fact, we'll talk about that when we come back. We'll step aside for a moment. Game one is in the books. We'll come back to Tampa after this. Well, it is late February here in Tampa and everywhere, of course, but it feels like June. 86 degrees right now. My thermometer says 84, but it feels like 92 here on Championship Court. As you see the battle, Wright and Deakin taking on Barr and Stone in the far court. Drew Felios with Scott Golden here on Championship Court, and game number one going to the pair of Deakin and Wright. What do Barr and Stone have to do to get back in this?
Well, I think, for one, I think Adam needs to get his energy level back up. He looked a little bit lethargic at the end of game one. Let's see if he can dig deep and find some energy there. The other thing that we're going to see is oftentimes, Drew, it's not uncommon for the team that lost in game one to switch sides and come out and win game two. They just, for whatever reason, mentally they check in. Maybe the other team has a little bit of a letdown like we're seeing here early. And I would not be surprised if we see this go to 3 games.
I was going to mention before the break, we saw a lot of dinking in that first game. The significance of it in pickleball. I know it's something that you love to talk about.
Right, so the non-volley zone is that 14 by 20 area that you see it by the kitchen, and the pros do such a good job of keeping that ball unattackable into that zone, and part of that sequence is called dinking. And all a dink is a ball that you hit soft into that zone where they cannot attack it out of the air. A good dink is a ball that bounces in front of your opponent and stays below the net after it bounces. So that way the opponent has to hit up and can't hit straight across or even down. There's 2 reasons for dinking, Drew. One is to force an error, and the other is to force a pop-up, pull them out of position, something like that, make them uncomfortable, get the pop-up, and then put that slam away. So that's why you see them doing that.
Barr and Stone out to a 3-game lead, 3-point lead rather, now 3-1. That just trimmed to 2 as Wright will serve.
I've watched Adam Stone a lot, Drew, and he's usually high energy, high excitement. He is struggling right now to get going. I believe the heat and the humidity is really playing a factor right now, and we'll see if he can make his adjustments.
I was just about to say that. When he took the court before the match began, he looked like that he had just been through it the match before, and that was certainly the case.
Yes, and it might be hard to see on camera, but looking at his shirt, it looks like somebody threw water all over him, but that's just sweat down here in Southwest Florida.
He's not the only one whose shirt looks like that. I was perspiring just doing our open here before the show.
It's hot in that sun. Now there's a good one-handed backhand from Adam. That's what we want to see. Adam settling in a little bit, getting that energy level back up. Sometimes you have to kind of dig deep and force that. You're not always going to feel great when you're playing, and you've got to find ways to get into that mode.
Tight on Wright that time, couldn't return it. And now it's Stone serving.
That's a great example of keeping that ball unattackable below the net. Steve thought he could roll that ball into the body of his opponent. Unsuccessful there.
Two-point lead for Barr and Stone here. And a must-win game. A nice return there by Wright.
One thing you don't want to do is attack Matt Wright too often. He is always ready. He looks like he's not really that ready, but he is always ready. Great counter puncher.
I mean, I'm going to make the comparison here. I don't know if it compares, but you're a Karate Kid fan, I imagine, back in the day. Wax on, wax off. The quick hands, Daniel LaRusso. Matt Wright, same way. The way he handles that paddle, it's just amazing. His hands are so quick, coming up with shots that you never knew he could pull off.
For sure, and the wax on, wax off Karate Kid thing is something I think that can translate.
Become a big fan of Cobra Kai, too, as well. That's another story as Wright puts it away.
Yeah, look at how crisp that shot was from Matt Wright. He often looks like he's not ready to be attacked, but that's part of the allure of what he does so well. He baits you into attacking him. He's a great counter puncher.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, right, Cobra Kai?
That's the Waters philosophy,
absolutely.
I believe.
And now here's Deakin. Oh, beauty.
So Drew is at this point in game one where Deakin and Wright really pulled away and ended up winning game one 11-6. Let's see how these next few points, how crucial they are for Adam Stone and Dekel. They've got to gain the lead here.
Oh, just long. And a critical point here in this match.
That's a big point for sure, but you know, great recognition by Steve Deakin there to take that ball down the line on Dekel. He got pulled over a little too far.
Oh, beautiful.
Another example of why you don't attack Matt Wright too often. He's just ready all the time.
Also think that's the reason why the game of table tennis kind of translates to the game of pickleball. Those quick hands, especially when that ball is coming at you full speed.
You can hit a ping pong ball from that close fast. You can definitely hit a pickleball from a little further away, and they do really well up at the non-volley zone. That translates exceptionally well.
Right down the middle that time from Dekel. Point lead now for Barr and Stone serving. Oof.
Adam Stone hobbling almost, Drew, over to get that ball. Something's going on right now with Adam Stone. I'm not sure what it is, but he does not look 100% to me. And I think if I'm noticing it here in the booth, I guarantee you Matt Wright and Steve Deakin know exactly what's going on. He's not even bending down right now to get the shots. He's standing upright.
Oh, got in that time. Looked like the ball was in, and Matt Wright did say great sportsmanship. The ball did just hit inside the line.
Yeah, you often see the first call of out is to let his partner know not to hit it. The second one is a change of that call if it ends up being in. See, something's going on. See, Adam doesn't look right. He's either cramping. I think he's cramping. It looked like after he hit that last overhead, his muscle just seized up on him, and you can tell this Florida heat is serious, Drew.
Adam Stone trying to adjust as he goes to the sideline to take a breather and a drink as well. His team, though, leads 8-5, game number 2 here in Tampa at the Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam. Championship court here in Tampa. Drew Felios, Scott Golden as Barr and Stone lead in game number 2 over Wright and Deakin. But you gotta wonder, does Adam Stone, who is in the blue shirt, top of your screen, have enough to go the rest of the way? What'd you learn, Scott?
Well, he is cramping right now from this Florida heat, and although he's from the state of Texas where it gets very hot, there is no substitute for playing down here in Southwest Florida. Right now, what we're going to see of a game plan from Dekel and Adam is Dekel's going to try to take as many balls as he can. So you're going to see him come over into the middle and really try to take over this game.
Another point extends it now to 9-5.
9-5-2.
Not much you could do also during a minute break, which is all we had there. Stone had to quickly get his senses about him, because when you start cramping, man, that gets to you mentally as well. beautiful shot from Wright, and he finishes.
Let me tell you why that happened, though. They recognize, listen, these guys are super intelligent guys. They recognize that Adam's cramping. They know Dekel's coming to the middle, so they're pushing every ball behind Dekel, which is causing a pop-up there. See what he's doing? See, Dekel's like straddling that middle line. He's protecting Adam right now to give him time to recover.
5-9-2.
Oh, nice. And right now, should we expect to see more of it from Dekel Bar, given the condition of his partner?
Oh, 100%. And really, they are playing right now to finish points fast and get Adam Stone back in the shade so he can try to recover a little bit before game 3. You can see he's not moving well, and their goal right now is to end all of these points as fast as possible.
9-5-2.
Second serve now. 2 away from forcing game number 3. Oh, and there's Wright coming up with another one for a side out.
5-9-1.
I would not be surprised if Matt Wright and Steve Deakin come back and win this game too, because of the situation that we're seeing unfold. He can't even, right now, he can't even move or bend down without the fear of locking up completely. And what he's doing right now is he's trying to avoid that from happening by staying really relaxed as he can.
Oh, Deakin tried to go for the finish, but right there, again, Dekel Bar just owned that point.
This could be an interesting dynamic because they know what's going on, and they know that Dekel's trying to take every ball he can, but sometimes you can overplay stuff a little bit trying to do something that you shouldn't. Oh my goodness, what a point by Dekel Bar and Matt Wright. Adam Stone gladly giving that middle up to his partner Dekel Bar right now as he's still fighting off those cramps. Hey, we're at game point, Drew. This is interesting to see how this is unfolding right now.
10-6-1.
First serve.
Second serve.
And I think if you are Bar and Stone, you've got to finish this. You got to make this a shorter match, right? You cannot give up match point after match point.
Yes, they're not going to be able to hold them off for too long. Look, Dekel trying to finish right there. But again, they know what's going on, so they're ready. And when Dekel comes over to attack that on a poach, they're just going to go right behind him. Adam, there's no way Adam moves over there to get that ball. Under these circumstances, I should say.
6-1.
And now is there a run left in Deakin and Wright here in this game too?
Not if they keep going to the forehand of Dekel Bar. Look where he's set up right there. His right foot is basically over that middle line. That's hard to get away from Dekel Bar right now.
Best point of the match. It is something else.
Adam Stone gladly letting his partner take every ball he can. And there's a clean winner. Adam Stone had one job to do right there, and he executed to the fullest extent.
And timeout will be called on the court. Both teams exerting it here in this game too, and putting on a show as well. That was fun to watch.
Man, Adam Stone struggling right now as far as just endurance.
We're getting tired just watching. Hydration break, much needed, brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
It's pickleball cocktail. It's pickleball cocktail. It's pickleball cocktail. I don't cream. When I step on the court, this is what I do. Okay. Everybody cramping, cause they ain't got that new. I got this cocktail in my glass, and I ain't afraid to drink it. Drink it, drink it, drink it. I pickle and I love it. It's pickleball cocktail. It's pickleball cocktail. It's pickleball cocktail. I don't cramp.
Welcome back to the Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam here at the HCC Tennis Center in the heart of Tampa. Drew Felios with Scott Golden. Right now the team of Wright and Deacon trailing in this game number 2. Dekel bar, Adam Stone trying to dig deep. Stone battling cramps. Here they started early in this game too.
You notice out in Phoenix, we really didn't see a threat of cramping, Drew, and that's from the lack of humidity out there in the West Coast. But down here in Florida, it's serious business with these cramps. You can't mess around with them. They are trying to close out game two. They've got game point on the paddle of Adam Stone and Dekel bar.
Good time to do it right here, and there it is.
But I want to say that Deakin and Wright are not worried about going to game three because they know they are going to see the cramps continue for Adam Stone. So that's why they weren't too concerned about losing that game two there. Yeah, Dekel bar doing a good job helping his partner Adam Stone right there, closing out game two. I'm interested to see, Drew, what they do for a game plan. Do they stay with Dekel bar trying to be the end-all be-all for their team, or does Adam Stone get some kind of magical concoction, maybe a Jigsaw Health electrolyte, and recover?
Championship court here on stop number 2 of the PPA. Game number 3 coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Championship Court. Deakin and Wright versus Bar and Stone here at the HCC Tennis Center. Great to have you with us. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, ESPN3, Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Samsung TV, so many other outlets taking this great sport. 40 different countries we are being seen here today. And once again, these athletes showing that they are very, very eager to showcase themselves, their great talents in this great game on center stage.
See, the game plan is still the same right now. Dekel bar trying to take everything he can in the middle. He is an absolute monster when he decides he's going to take over a point. But if you watched there, they start with Adam Stone typically on the left. And they like Adam, his forehand in the middle. But in this case, because he's cramping, they're switching. They're stacking on the even scores. And they're keeping Adam Stone to the right of Dekel bar. And that's intentional because they want Dekel to be very active right now, getting his paddle on as many shots as he can. That's a good shot. Adam looking for some lobs there to catch Steve Deakin and Matt Wright off guard, but so far he's 0 for 2 on those lobs. I don't think that's something that he typically does, but I do know that right now he's trying to avoid any kind of long points. Drew, it's going to be really important here that Dekel bar stays composed and doesn't try to do too much for his partner, Adam Stone. Adam's got to find a way to dig deep and be able to handle his part of the court right now and not make Dekel feel like he has to do too much.
ATP tried by Stone, and he comes up a little gimpy after the attempt. You saw the grimace on his face. He is gutting this out here in this game 3.
Yeah, if we could put a camera right up on his calf muscles, every time he goes to hit, it tenses up, and that's what causes those cramps to really start acting up on you. But you see, like, that's a shot. Now, that's a good shot cross court from them. But normally, when he's not cramping, he's able to get a paddle on that ball. And there, he just kind of reached out in desperation mode.
3-0-2.
Now it's Steve Demon Deakin to serve. 3-0 lead here in game number 3. Good start for Deakin and Wright.
Look, he cramped up even on that ball right there. It's what it is. It's like somebody grabbing you and jerking on you and then letting go. That's what he's experiencing right now as he's playing.
And when that happens to you during a match, you can drink a lot, but there's not a lot you can do once those cramps set in. That's got to prepare the night before, getting yourself as hydrated as possible.
Correct. He's lost a lot of fluids as he's made this run through the bracket. He needs some more Jigsaw health, the electrolytes. That does a great job for Ben Johns. I rarely see Ben Johns cramping. Actually, I don't know that I've ever seen Ben Johns cramp, but I also don't know that he's human. So, but yeah, so he's lost a lot of fluids as they've made their way through the bracket.
I see Stone just gimping towards the net, and eventually Deakin gets the winner.
I would not be surprised, Drew, if this game ended 11-0, 11-1, just because they've now figured out their game plan. They've had 2 minutes between game 2 and game 3 to figure it out, and now they're rocking and rolling. But that tells you what kind of pain that he's in right now, Drew, is he's attacking that ball at his ankles because he doesn't want to bend down and get it because he's going to cramp, quite honestly.
Oh, right down the middle that time from Dekel Bar. Is that the shot that possibly ignites Bar and Stone here in this game 3?
Well, certainly, Drew, that was a good shot, but they've got to do a little more than that to get back in this. They're down 5 here in game 3.
There's the dinks that you were just talking about, Scott.
Well, and what we just saw right there was an Ernie from Dekel Bar. Remember we talked about his 6'4" frame and he could play linebacker for the NFL. He uses that so well. He recognized that Steve Deakin was going to go down the line there, jumping the kitchen and earning him. Beautiful shot there.
Points needed big time, and Dekel Bar able to oblige.
So let me tell you what's going on right now. You may be watching and going, well, if Adam's the one cramping, why aren't they hitting every ball to Adam Stone? The reason they're not is because Dekel is pushing over far. So they're trying to keep him honest by pushing it back to his side to the left. So that's what they're trying to accomplish when they're dinking behind Dekel Bar. And simply, Adam Stone is staying put in his box, and he's just looking to counter the attacks from Wright and Deakin. See Dekel pushing over. See, that's what he's doing. He's putting a lot of pressure, wanting them to go behind. He's baiting that shot.
Daring them, daring them.
Look, he's rocking back and forth. Come on, Steve, speed it up behind me.
Seeing that tennis player in him come out very much here in this game 3, as now we'll have second serve.
And I want to point out that was a great point by Steve Deakin and Matt Wright as they kept that ball soft, a lot of finesse in that point, and really a shot that was unattackable.
So Deakin and Wright leading 5-2 over Bar and Stone. Game number 3. We're back to Tampa in a moment.
Pickleball cocktail. Can't wait to try it.
Cheers.
That is delicious. That's wonderful.
Wow, that is really good.
Orangey tasticness.
That is absolutely awesome.
Way better than bananas.
Well, that's nice.
Not too sweet.
Real orange flavor.
Tastes just like Tang. Sugar-free, no extra calories.
This is a cocktail you should drink at 6:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Cheers.
You're watching Championship Court here in the heart of Tampa. HCC Tennis Center will be home for the next few days for the Pro Pickleball Association Tour here at the Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam. Drew Felios with Scott Golden. Saw a great women's match before this one. The Waters family, Anna Lee and Lee, the mother-daughter duo, victorious. And now we're seeing a pretty good one here. And a battle of attrition it has become with Adam Stone battling cramps. He along with Dekel Bar trying to come back against Wright and Deakin.
Great defense by both sides. Phenomenal playing by Dekel. Adam Stone doing his part, obviously, but he is not at 100% right now.
And still Matt Wright going after Dekel. And then you just saw Stone just kind of helplessly waiting there.
Yeah, and again, it's like what we talked about. He's not even necessarily trying to do anything special with Dekel there. He's just trying to keep him honest and keep him back over on his side. And then he sets up that pop-up by pulling him off the court. Beautiful execution by Matt Wright.
Here's that dink game, Scott. And how about that? Ready for it was Steve Deakin.
Yeah, you know, these guys, I got to tell you, they're getting blasted from 14 feet away. It's really more like 10 or 12 feet away. And they're just so ready all the time when that ball gets attacked.
So 6-5, Deakin and Wright still hanging on to a 1-point lead. Stay tuned, more pickleball throughout the day here from Tampa.
You know, I thought this might be a blowout in game 3, but Barr and Stone digging deep here, showing they got tenacity and grit here on center court. I got to tell you, man, that when you're cramping, I'm a player as well, and I've had some cramps before. To be able to play at this elite level, Drew, and be down only 1 point in game 3, it's impressive, to say the least.
Crowd here filing in throughout the day. If you're in the area, hey, come on down and join us. Have some great pickleball over the next few days. Last week we were right in the middle of the desert, Phoenix, Arizona. J.W. Marriott, Simone Jardim, who this tournament is named after, winning the Triple Crown last week. And so did Ben Johns, top player on the men's side. You wonder, what is the Triple Crown in pickleball? Scott, I'll let you explain.
Drew, the Triple Crown, for anybody wondering, is when you win all 3 of your respected divisions. Men's and women's pro singles, men's and women's pro doubles, and mixed pro doubles. And that is called the Triple Crown. And so far, Simone and Ben still on par to Triple Crown as they both won singles yesterday.
And how about that forehand by Stone? Shown a lot of guts here in this match.
Sometimes, I'm not saying that he's not still dealing with the cramps, Drew, but sometimes when you're just in that war of attrition and you're in the battle, you can sometimes get into a mode where you just forget about whatever's going on and you just find ways. And right now we're seeing that from Adam Stone. Oh, you know what happened there? The ball was very unattackable from Steve Deakin there. Dekel thought he had an Ernie. Well, when he didn't, he actually hit the net. He came up and hit the net, and you're not allowed to hit the net.
Look at Deakin here. And playing in a tournament like this, would you advise a player to wear all black? It just does not seem like a smart thing to do with these conditions.
Must be a Canadian thing, Drew. I don't know.
Just as I say that, he hammers home a winner.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, Steve Deakin's a different breed, man. Maybe he thinks, you know, black gives him special powers out there. I don't know.
2 points away now from Deakin and Wright. Trying to advance here. It's winner's bracket final.
I think that's a great look from Dekel, but that's not what his team needs right now. He needs to be the rock solid player for him and Adam. I do like the idea behind that, but when you're down at this stage, I think maybe he's just pushing a little too much to try to find something.
Match point, and that will do it. So Deakin and Wright. Final point goes long. And they will advance here in the winner's bracket after Adam Stone fights off cramps, battled about as much as he could, and Dekel Bar, too, just played sensational in that match. Just not enough, though, to beat Wright and Deakin at the top of their game.
Yeah, Adam better go get some shade and find a way to recover because he still got to play in the bronze medal match.
Last point there, just a few inches long. And that barely missed.
Yeah, no argument from Dekel Bar and Adam Stone. I think Adam's happy to be back in the shade now. And, you know, when you're cramping like that, Drew, you've got to find a way to recover and get back to at least 85 to 90% of what you used to be.
So we'll step aside. The winner's circle is coming up. Hannah Johns is getting ready to interview our winners. And we'll be back to Tampa in just a moment. Welcome back to Tampa. As you look at championship court here at the HCC Tennis Center, Pro Pickleball Association Tour continues. Drew Felios alongside Scott Golden. Great match we just saw as Matt Wright and Steve Deakin were victorious. And now let's send it courtside. Hannah is standing by with Matt and with Steve. Scott, Hannah,
Thanks,
take it
Drew.
away.
Not yet.
Those smelly guys.
Thanks, Drew. Matt Wright here with me and Steve Deakin. Great match out there, guys. Adam Stone started to cramp in that second game. How does that change the match?
Yeah, you know, like I think we're all battling a few demons out there, but you definitely want to try to be perfect when you know one of your opponents isn't feeling great, and that can sometimes be like counterproductive, right? And you know, you get a little tight, you try to force shots that aren't there. I thought that I got really tight in that second game, and then the heat kind of nailed me a little bit here. So all in all, I thought we gutted it out really well, and I feel for Adam for sure. It's not a good feeling.
You guys have been in the sport a long time. How have you seen pickleball change over time?
The depth. So it used to be that you could kind of, don't take this wrong way, but you could get into the quarters, sometimes even the semis, and not be pushed too much. Now you go out by the round of 16, and it's a team that can make a deep run in that early round. So you have to be ready to play from the outset. That's the biggest change I've seen. Yeah.
And what were the keys in this one? Not only keeping Adam moving, but what else?
Yeah, I think also, in a perfect world, keeping Dekel honest, because when he gets a little bit of confidence and he straddles the middle, he can be one of the most dangerous players out there. So I think keeping him honest was a good call, but it was kind of hard to go to him when we saw Adam struggling the way he was. And, I wasn't feeling great in game 3, but, I think they may have recognized that and pushed me hard, but it is what it is.
We're out here in the hot Florida sun. It's been tough on a lot of the players. What are you going to do now to prepare while you wait for the winners for the gold medal match?
I'll stick with my Jigsaw products. I actually feel great right now, so I'm ready to roll in the gold match, and I'll go stay hydrated with the little pickleball cocktail, and we'll be ready, man. Get this guy cooled down and give it hell.
All right, and if it does come down to Johns and Johns in the final against you, can you share some of the strategy for that tough matchup?
None whatsoever.
Who are they? Who are they? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We'll have to go figure that one out.
I guess maybe we'll see later. Congratulations, guys. We'll see more later. We're going back to the court. And Drew.
All right, thank you very much, Hannah. You'll take a look at some of the highlights. Of course, Matt Wright, Steve Deakin, have a little playful fun there as Dekel Bar and Adam Stone played valiantly in that match, Scott, but as it went to that third game, you kind of knew where the match was going, given Stone was cramping like he was.
Any competitor that's been playing at the highest level in this sport during the summertime or a hot day understands cramps, understands what the deal is with that. And kudos to Matt Wright and Steve Deakin for getting a good game plan going into game 3. I told you, didn't I, Drew? They weren't worried about losing game 2 because the longer that match was drawn out, the better chance that they had to win it.